This is Delhi. Please stand by for our next broadcast.
This is All India Radio. You will now hear comments from the press. The Times of India in its editorial title, Destination Moon, says, Indian space science is inching towards a historic feat with the Chandrayaan-2 moon mission entering its last and crucial phase. It will be recalled that Chandrayaan-2 was successfully launched on July 22 with ISRO's GSLV Mk3 M1 rocket. Subsequently, the 3,840 kg spacecraft, comprising an orbiter, a lander and a rover, left Earth orbit on August 14 and was transferred to a moon orbit through a maneuver called translunar insertion. Then, in the last few days, the lander, christened Vikram, successfully separated from the orbiter and was put in a lower moon orbit. Finally, on September 7, Vikram will attempt to soft land near the south pole of the moon. If that is successful, the rover Pragyan will roll out of the lander and begin conducting experiments on the lunar surface. With that, India will become only the fourth country to put a rover on the moon and the first to reach the moon's south pole in its first attempt. Additionally, Chandrayaan-2 is expected to enhance our understanding of our natural satellite and the origins of our solar system. In fact, one of the objectives of the mission is to further findings of its predecessor Chandrayaan-1, which in 2008 had confirmed the presence of water on the moon. And if Chandrayaan-2 does find substantial reserves of moon water along with any other valuable minerals in lunar soil, it will be contributing towards the creation of a future moon colony. All of this on a budget 978 crore rupees. That is less than what it cost to make the Hollywood movie Interstellar. Thus, Chandrayaan-2 could be the model for low-cost moon missions of the future. As the entire nation waits for the historic soft landing, a complex maneuver that Israel failed to pull off earlier this year, India's second moon mission has already set the tone for the proposed Indian manned space flight by 2022. The Indian Express, in its editorial title, Give and Take, writes, in June, as the protests in Hong Kong gathered momentum, the city's chief executive, Carrie Lam, suspended the Fugitive Offenders and Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Legislation Amendment Bill 2019. As of Wednesday, the bill stands withdrawn. The proposed law, which would have allowed those accused of criminal activity in Hong Kong to be extradited to mainland China, was a tender that sparked the protests, which have challenged the authority of the Chinese state. Lam addressed another key demand of the protesters, the establishment of an independent commission of inquiry into the use of force by the police against protesters. The question now is whether these steps are too little and have come too late. Over 3 months, the protests have grown into an anti-China, pro-democracy movement. The extradition law was seen as an attack on the one country, two systems formula that has allowed Hong Kong to maintain its special status and autonomy since it acceded to China in 1997. While the protesters have attacked symbols of the Chinese state, its flag, emblem, etc., the police and Chinese authorities have called them rioters and accused them of showing signs of terrorism. The authorities have also been accused of brutality by the protesters. Two of the major demands of the protesters, amnesty for those arrested during the protests and direct elections for the chief executive's office, remain bones of contention. What the current concessions by Lam, backed by the Chinese government, provide is an opportunity for the protesters to take their movement from the streets to the negotiating table. Throughout the current protest, the spectre of the Tiananmen Square massacre of 1989 has lurked in the background. Then, as now, the Chinese economy and party state was in a period of transition, and a popular protest for democracy challenged the government and Communist Party's dominance. While Beijing has engaged in muscular rhetoric, it has also affirmed its commitment to one country, two systems. For the Chinese government as well as the leadership of the protests, it is important to realize the impact of the disruption of the last 3 months. According to IHS Markit Hong Kong, which tracks private business activity in the city, private sector activity is the lowest it has been since 2009, when the city was reeling from the effects of the global financial crisis. Beijing must now use the subtlety of statecraft, of listening and give and take, not speak the language of force. A sustained dialogue in and about Hong Kong is the only route to normalcy. The Hindustan Times, in its editorial title, Prioritizing Health in India and the Region, writes, with international travel blurring national boundaries and viruses crossing continents within hours to cause seasonal flu, Nipah, Ebola and Zika outbreaks in new locales and countries, strengthening regional collaboration can address existing, emerging and re-emerging health priorities to stop disability, disease and death. Scaling up capacities for emergency risk management, measles elimination and rubella control, preventing NCDs, reducing maternal and child deaths, achieving universal health coverage UHC, eliminating neglected tropical diseases and accelerating efforts to end TB are some critical issues being deliberated by minister-led delegations at the 72nd Regional Committee sessions of the World Health Organization's Southeast Asia region, WHO CRO, in New Delhi this week. India and its neighbors have used innovative approaches to end and eliminate endemic diseases. In India, Ayushman Bharat and the Prime Minister Jan Arogya Yojana have put India on track. The challenge will be to stay the course as it gets scaled up.